World champions have done it. Chelsea fans, we're not going to dance this night though. You see, when I say if you don't watch football, I don't know what you are. I don't know how you get yourself excited, because what Liverpool, Chelsea and Arsenal did tonight just shows you what you expect from these big teams, right? If you're obviously chasing the Premier League title, you're looking to win any title at all, these are the sort of performances that you will see from these sort of teams. You know what? Let's just start off with Arsenal. Now, before I do that, welcome back to my channel, and it's post-match review of match day 24 that saw Arsenal, Chelsea and Liverpool pick up 3 points in their respective matches. Now, Arsenal obviously started off the games, and yeah, it was an easy 4-0 win against Leeds United. Now, I did expect that it was going to be a bit difficult because Leeds United at Highland Road, playing at home, they are just usually this very difficult team to play against. And trust me, they did not make it difficult for Arsenal at all, because definitely you would expect that you know, looking at the way they've played against other teams, the likes of Chelsea, the likes of Man City, you know, they just usually make it very difficult for the big teams. But against Arsenal, it was easy. Let me say in the first half, Arsenal scored 2 goals. Obviously, you would have said, oh, you wouldn't expect them to, you know, get it easier like that. But yeah, it was easy for Arsenal. Zubimendi scored the first goal, and an own goal from Dalot, who is the goalkeeper of Leeds United. That was obviously an unfortunate incident, but I felt like he could have done better to save that goal. But yeah, it was an own goal from the goalkeeper, and that made it 2-0 in the first half. Now, should I say that the first 2 goals came from a corner? It did. He absolutely did. Now, I felt like the fact that Saka didn't even start the game, I think he picked up an injury during the warm-up to the game. And yes, they have Noni Madueke, who I think that it was exceptional in that first half. The 2 goals, or should I say the corner kicks that led to the goals, were obviously played from him. And it's quite impressive to see when he makes those decisions, when he decides to cross the ball properly, it tends to yield good results. That is what I expect from him. Even the I think the 3rd goal, or let me say more of the 2nd goal, you see him make those sort of crosses. Yeah, and he's usually very good with those sort of crosses, but this time around he helped lead to the corner that obviously he played, and then led to the own goal from the goalkeeper. And then came the second half. Also, I felt like that first half it was a bit stifled. They didn't give him a lot of chances, and then second half he was lucky to get that ball literally in his path, and it was more like just a tapping from him. Even though I also felt like the goalkeeper didn't do enough, right? But he got his goal, and then the last goal obviously was scored from Gabriel Jesus. Now, I feel like Jesus, since he got back from his injury, I feel like he's been brimming with this confidence, which has seen him score about, I think, 3 goals or 4 goals now in all competitions for Arsenal, and he has been doing really well. And I think he understands that the competition between himself, Kai Havertz and Victor Gyökeres will definitely be there. But I think that Mikel Arteta is doing a good job of using him and Victor Gyökeres almost at the same time. So it's really good to see that both main guys, the number 9s, are getting goals. And I think that's the impressive part of the game against Leeds United. Now, heading over to West London derby, where Chelsea came back from a 2-goal down to winning the game 3-2. That, I think, has been the most impressive game that I've seen from Chelsea after that game against Napoli in midweek. And I must say that the way they went about that game, I don't think I expected much, to be honest, because I felt that the fact that they went all the way to Italy to play Napoli first in the Champions League, coming back, obviously they'll be exhausted, they'll be tired, and they might not do much in the game. And that obviously led to Liam Rosenior's first 11. You know, obviously Garnacho, Gittins didn't start off the game in midweek in the Champions League, and he felt that, you know what, because Esteval obviously is not around, I think he had a personal issue, a family issue, and he had to travel all the way to Brazil. The coach had to improvise, and you can't start off the same players you started off in the game midweek. That was a very, very tough game, and so I expected changes. I did expect changes, and even though I felt like the changes, I didn't expect him to start Delap. I expected him to have started João Pedro and maybe, yes, bring Gittins on and Garnacho. And I expected better from those two players, because obviously Neto didn't play very well midweek, you know, against Napoli, and Esteval was obviously a world class on his own. But looking at the both of them, if I'm to compare the performance from both Gittins and Garnacho, I would definitely say that Garnacho was horrible. Gittins was better, and unfortunately he had to come off with an injury, right, causing Pedro Neto obviously to come into the side before the end of first half. And the two goals that West Ham scored were literally on the side where Garnacho is. It wasn't marking his man. It wasn't doing, even if you're not going to help the team get the ball into the 18-yard box of your opponent, ensure you are helping them to defend in their own box. You were not doing either. You weren't helping with crosses in, you weren't taking your players on, you weren't even keeping the ball just for your other players to come and meet you. You weren't doing that. And then for you to defend, it was a problem. It was really disappointing from Garnacho in that first half. Obviously, Gittins and Garnacho, it seemed like there was just something off between the both of them. And I must say that that also affected Cole Palmer, because he was saying that the number of passes he was making to Garnacho was not making use of those passes. And I think at some point he just got tired. And you know, aside from the fact that I still feel like he was not 100% fit, that showed in his game today, but it wasn't as obvious. I think it's a gradual thing. It will keep coming. The more matches they play, the more full and 100% fit it would get. And yeah, that first half, the first goal that was scored from Bowen, I think it was a very, very good goal. Unfortunately, there was nothing, absolutely nothing Robert Sanchez could have done to save that, because honestly, I felt that the player that was in front of him, the West Ham player that was in front of him, just distracted him from knowing what exactly to do. And that is what you expect a striker to do. Try and see if you can distract either the goalkeeper or the defender, and then see if other players around you can get the goal. And that was exactly what happened. But the cross already coming from Bowen was a beautiful one. I don't think there's, as I said, there was nothing Sanchez could have done. It was already been distracted by the other player in front of him. And then the second goal, that was a bit more disappointing. That was scored by Somerville, and I think he has been one of their good players since they signed him this summer, even though he has just not scored a lot of goals. But that cross was a very good one. I don't think there was anything, as I said, Sanchez could have done. He really tried, but there was, it was just unfortunate that went in. And that also came from Garnacho, because I felt he could have done better. You were the one tracking him, and you just left him to outrun you and then just get the shot in. But yeah, that was what happened in the first half. And then in the second half, the coach, Liam Rosenior, made some changes. He took off Garnacho, obviously, and brought in, he took off Ato, who I also felt struggled in that first half. He wasn't having the support he wanted from Garnacho, and it was difficult for him to mark both, what's his name now? Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka was all over the place in that first half. It was really difficult for him to mark that guy. And yeah, I think the coach knew that, brought off, what's his name? Took off Ato, took off Garnacho, and then brought in Cucurella, João Pedro, and also Fofana, which I think was a very, very smart decision. Now, don't forget that a lot of Chelsea fans came for Fofana in that last game against Napoli. You know, they blamed him for the 2 goals that Napoli scored, and this time around it was amazing. He came on, he the moment these three guys came in, it was pressure all around for West Ham. They couldn't take Chelsea down. I think the first goal from João Pedro, who has been on a phenomenal ride, scored the first goal. Obviously, it was a cross, a perfectly timed cross from Fofana straight into the box, and João Pedro literally was running to that ball, headed it in, and it just went in. Obviously, that also distracted the goalkeeper, Iraola, from getting the save, but the ball went a different way, Iraola went a different way, and that was 2-1 down. And then the second goal came in from a scruffle of, João Pedro trying to get the ball into the 18-yard box because he was already running off the ball, off the net, and he just crossed the ball back into the box, tried to hit it into the net. Delap tried to get the ball with his head into the net, but obviously there was a defender in front of him. The ball bounced back, and Kukurea just headed it in. There was nothing, absolutely nothing, that would have stopped that ball from going in. And then the final goal obviously was Enzo Fernandez. It was, honestly, I feel like João Pedro is on a high on confidence right now, because that ball, it passed back into the net that Enzo Fernandez just shot into the net. I think it was a very good goal, and it's just, I feel like the confidence is on right now is what gets him to position himself very well. And I'm talking of João Pedro. He positions himself very, very well, and obviously gets a goal and an assist, and I think he deserves man of the match in that game. So obviously if he wins man of the match, is back-to-back man of the match performance from João Pedro, and I think he has scored about maybe 5 goals or 6 goals in the last 3-4 games right now. It's been impressive, really, really impressive. And then the final game of Saturday was Liverpool taking on Newcastle. Now, I expected Newcastle to have done better, looking at the good performance they did put against Paris Saint-Germain midweek, but it just looked like they were struggling. Now, they scored the first goal, Aaron Ramsey scoring the first goal, and I thought it was going to be difficult for Liverpool to get the equalizer probably before the first half, but no, they got the equalizer. And should I say that Arne Slot, probably till the end of this season, should never ever bench Ugo Ekitike except if he's injured, where he doesn't even get to play at all, because Ugo Ekitike has been one of their best players for them this season, scoring goals, making assist, his performances, his all-round play. He has been amazing. And so sometimes I question why he actually puts him on the bench. But the good thing is he started him off, and he scored the equalizer in the 41st or 43rd minute. And then in less than 2 minutes, he gets another goal for Liverpool. Tell me why Arne Slot would decide to bench that player. I cannot for the life of me understand it. But he gets the equalizer and the second goal for Liverpool, putting them 2-1 ahead in the first half. Now, should I say that Mohamed Salah was disappointing? I don't know any other way I should say it. He had chances upon chances. He was missing. It wasn't clinical when he was supposed to pass the ball. It wasn't. Mohamed Salah at the moment is on an all-time low on confidence. You cannot tell me any other thing. And I expect him to be better, because you just came from AFCON. Yes, I understand that your team didn't get to the final of the AFCON, but you performed well. And so coming back to play for Liverpool, it's just been bad. Extremely bad. Anyways, the second half starts off, and it looks like Liverpool are the better side all over again. Now, Florian Wirtz, who I think that has been on a very good form for Liverpool at the moment, scoring, assisting, determining play and all that, he scores. He gets the third goal for Liverpool, and I thought probably that was where the game was going to end, until Konate gets the final goal, I think in the 92nd or 93rd minute, and just seals the win for Liverpool. Now, when you look at the table, obviously, you can see that Arsenal obviously are still top of the table with 53 points. Now, Aston Villa and Man City are yet to play their games. Their games will be on Saturday. Maybe they will get respective wins and still mount the pressure on Arsenal. But for now, Arsenal are still top of the table with 7 points between second and third. Right, and then Chelsea obviously moved to 4th with that win against West Ham, dropping Manchester United to 5th until they also play their game tomorrow. And I think Liverpool automatically moves to fifth now because of the win, pending the time Manchester United also play their game. So I expect that if Manchester United, quote unquote, wins their game against Fulham, then they might return to fourth on the table. But if not, it's going to be quite interesting to see how that table eventually turns out by the end of Sunday evening. Now, those are my thoughts on the results for Saturday games for match day 24 of the Premier League. Share your thoughts in the comment section. And should I say before I go that Liam Rusino has been doing a very good job. I think other teams should be on the watch out. Now, don't forget that Arsenal and Chelsea are going to be playing the second leg of the EFL. I'm going to be doing a preview for that before then. But yeah, share your thoughts in the comment section, what you think of the games from Arsenal, Chelsea and Liverpool. Also, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. It's really important, and thank you for those that have subscribed. Keep sharing with your loved ones, your friends and family, and keep subscribing to the channel. It helps the channel to grow. Also, put on your post notification button to get our latest video when they drop. But most importantly, follow us on all our social media platforms on Instagram, X, TikTok, and Facebook at _official FSH. Anyways, guys, until Sunday games are played and the results are in, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye bye.